Hey going, Landon here from Zero Grid. Just thought I would run through a bit of a question that I get, and it's regarding the Renogy batteries. Around there's a 200 amp hour core battery, and there's a 200 hour Bluetooth battery, and there's also 100 amp hour versions as well. So at least going through this, you'll see my thought process and on how I compare the two, and you'll almost be able to use this to be able to compare any two batteries on the market. So these are the things that I look for. So straight to the specs is where I'm looking to be able to see something that stands out. So this one here is the core series of batteries, and what I'm normally looking for is the cycle life. So this one reckons 5,000 cycles is what expected, and at 80% end of life. So that's that 5,000. The battery will be at 80% of its original capacity at that 4,000 cycles is what they're suggesting that it'll be, or that's what they're saying that it's going to be, is that it's life. Um, and then to compare that to the Bluetooth battery, that they're saying 2,000 cycles. So that's a fair amount more out of the core battery, which is really interesting. And I do know that the Bluetooth battery, they use pouch cells, and the core series that they're using more of an EV cell, so like a bigger cell. So I did watch a couple of videos of them pulling them apart, and it's quite interesting how they're totally different batteries, and they've obviously got different BMSs as well, and I'll run through that in a minute too. But this is quite interesting too, that the core battery is a bit lighter. That's a considerable amount. What's that? It's just under 6 kilos, something like that difference. So like that makes a difference, especially like in caravans or motorhomes and that type of stuff as well, to take into consideration. Just to more weight means more fuel, so we do want to keep our weights down. So something other that I noticed as well in this one is peak discharge current 400 amps for 10 seconds, which is quite impressive. That's for the startup currents of like air conditioners and big loads like that have a really short inrush in current. But the Bluetooth battery doesn't specify any type of peak discharge current, so that's interesting as well. So this is like to compare with, we're trying to compare the apples to apples. So the core series is somewhat cheaper. What's that? $250, it adds up. And this is where I was saying about the BMS as well, how they're different, because the core batteries allow for series connection as well. So, and that's what I'm really impressed with them. So we can use them. There's a lot of like bus systems out there that are built with lead acid batteries or AGMs and in 24 volts and that type of stuff. So we can use these batteries to replace older systems without having to rebuild and go to a different voltage and that type of stuff too. So we can run them in single, and we can run them in parallel for 12 volt, or we can run them in series to make 24 volt, or we can run them in series as well to make 48 volts. So that's really really cool. So that's a benefit of its BMS. And the Bluetooth one, we can only run them in parallel, so we can only run them at a 12 volt, and that's its limitation. So the BMS is its computer built inside of the battery, and if they allow for that or not. So but the Bluetooth battery is something that it does have, is that it has its own built-in Bluetooth, which can talk to the Renogy one screen. I actually have a screen here that I'm going to put in my van to test out. And that's really quite handy for then. So then you're getting the true reading of what is going on inside of the battery. It's the battery's BMS telling you that it's at that percentage. So shunts are only as good as the information that you put into them. So if that's not quite right, you're not going to get the right answers. So they're basically a flow meter. So you set it at, say, let's for math's sake, say you set it at 1,000 amp hours, and then it'll measure 250 amps going past in the period of an hour, and then it'll say that you're at 75%. So that's kind of how it works. So if you don't have that starting number right, or things like that, they can be way out. So talking directly to the battery definitely has its benefits. So there's no room for error in that regard. So and that's where it's handy that with the Bluetooth that it connects to these Renogy ones, and the core doesn't. So the core is a basic battery. It's just sits there, puts out its 12 volt, can string them together in series or parallel, and all that type of stuff too. Um, so yeah, that's that. I would use the core battery, like to put in a system, like I said before, like about the retrofitting. I had a customer. He bought some of these batteries to go in his bus. It's got an old lead acid battery system in it, and he's getting that they've done their day, so he's getting rid of them, and these core batteries is what he's putting in. So they're good because he can set them up in a similar configuration that's already there, and still utilize some components that are set up for his old system, and just upgrade a few for the lithium side of things, the DC to DC charging and stuff like that. So, and the AC charging. But I like too that the core batteries have that longer cycle life. I feel like that's a really good representation of their internal qualities. So that they're obviously using a different cells and the different BMS as well inside of that battery. So which is good, and they're cheaper. Like that does make a difference, a couple $100. And even if we have to buy a shunt, these are the prices as of today. So that they're going to change all the time with how the pricing works. But even to take in consideration of buying a shunt of $104, it's still works out cheaper. So, and and those shunts that we can get then, talking to other things and Bluetooth apps and stuff like that. But and that's where the Bluetooth battery would be quite good for a new build. So if you're starting from scratch and wanting to use the Renogy One screen and all that type of stuff, or even just to have a simple installation without the shunt, it'd be a lot easier to just go that lithium that with the Bluetooth built in. So that's sort of where I'd weigh it up. But I really reckon for me that the core battery is the winner. So just because of those things that I mentioned, I suppose. And yeah, I feel like it's a new battery in the Renogy range, and I feel like it's here to stay for a while as well. So they'll have that's the basic range that's good for retrofitting, and we can use other smarts if we want to be able to have smarts. We could put a Victron smart shunt in there if we wanted it to have Bluetooth, or we can have it communicate other ways as well. And Renogy are bringing out their new shunt as well, which will have Bluetooth and talk to the Renogy One systems and all the app on your phone and stuff too. So yeah, I reckon that is the that's my pick for sure. And they look good on paper, and the reviews that I've had from customers who have used these firsthand have been really good as well. So let me know if you've got any other questions around the Renogy gear, and if you'd like any other comparisons, like for the DC to DC chargers, or solar panels, or whatever it is, just let me know, and I'm happy to to pour my knowledge into a video like this to be able to help you make the best decision. So yeah, comment below if you've got some ideas on what you'd like to see a video on next. But yeah, good on you guys. Cheers.